To the City of Miami Commission meeting for July 11th, 2025. We are going to get started with the recognition portion of our meeting as we do. Are my colleagues here? Waiting for a couple of my colleagues to join me. I believe we are ready to start. I have 3 of the 4 of my colleagues here joining me. Fire rescue.
So we have a proclamation here. Whereas this year the City of Miami Department of Fire and Rescue is one of 40,000 fire departments evaluated by the Insurance Services Office, ISO, on the level of the fire protection safety they provide to their community. And whereas the fire departments receive a public protection classification rating of Class 1 through Class 10, and they are evaluated on water supply, emergency communications, annual training, and fire department equipment, apparatus, staffing, geographic distribution of fire companies, operational considerations, and risk reduction. And whereas these statistics show that only 1% of fire departments across the nation receive a Class 1 rating, and even more astounding is that only 1% receive a credit score of more than 100. And whereas the City of Miami Department of Fire and Rescue is recognized as being part of the 1% across the nation, working every day striving for excellence, and whereas this recognition serves as a critical metric for the department's ability to respond promptly to medical emergencies such as heart attacks, strokes, motor vehicle accidents, and structure fires, thus saving lives or protecting property. And whereas the operational philosophy of the City of Miami Department of Fire and Rescue is straightforward: get there quickly, do a great job, and save lives and protect property. And whereas it is fitting and proper to acknowledge and commend the City of Miami Fire Department for their outstanding achievement in being awarded the ISO Class 1 rating, reflecting their exceptional service and dedication to the safety of the community. Now, therefore, I, Commissioner McGavella, commend and honor the City of Miami Fire Department Rescue.
So about 100 years ago, or over 100, about 126 years ago next week, the residents of the city of Miami, after a few large fires, demanded an exceptional fire department. It was the residents that wanted an exceptional fire department. And we have news clippings back from 1915 when the insurance raters said that we were the highest rated in the state. The Insurance Services Organization does exactly that. Since their inception back in the 70s, our department has been rated a Class 1 department. And what that means is is that of the 40,000 fire departments in the country, 40,000, they rate every single one. Only 1% are class 1. So it's class 1 to class 10. Only 400. And of that 400, we are at the top tier of that. That's an incredible accomplishment that we've been able to maintain. And it basically demonstrates that fire rescue in Miami is a brand. You hear when something bad happens and someone needs help, llama rescue, right? Call rescue. That's a brand. And the brand represents bravery. No one doubts that when firefighters arrive and there's a window washer hanging from a 40-story building, no one thinks, I wonder if they're going to decide to rescue that person. Or I wonder if they're going to go fight the fire. It's a brand. You know we're going to do it. You know we're going to be responsive. You know we're going to be competent. And you know we're going to be there very quickly. It's an honor for us to wear this uniform because it represents that brand. It represents trust. And really what this proclamation about, it's really not about us because we can't do it. We need the help of city administration like the city manager. We need elected officials like the Honorable Mayor, Madam Chairwoman, Commissioner Reyes, Gabela Carollo, all of our commissioners, and Commissioner Pardo, to be able to support us to build fire stations, to have apparatus, to hire dispatchers. We can't do that on our own. And without that, we would not be a Class 1 department. So thank you, all of you, for supporting it. Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, for the proclamation. We really appreciate it from the bottom of our hearts.
And our fire department was recently tested. We had a 3-alarm fire a month or so ago, and it was the first 3-alarm fire in 20 years. Not one person perished in that fire. And it was a building of seniors. First thing in the morning, it was a horrifying thing to witness and experience. And you see these guys taking the seniors out of the building by the ladder in their pajamas. They lost everything. But these guys showed up. It was a miserable, miserable day. I was on scene in tears. And together, collectively, my colleagues, every one of them, we have worked together to identify housing for its, I think, 55 residents who lost everything. All of us came together, but our firefighters, they showed up. The smoke, the building went up like that. It was a wooden roof, and the building was so old, there wasn't a firewall separation, and the fire just took over. In addition to this 3-alarm fire, it was pouring rain. And these guys, they didn't hesitate, they didn't blink, and I was just so nervous and so worried that we were going to lose somebody, but we didn't. And I'm so proud to be a part of this. So congratulations.
I have to say something about the department that I'm so proud of. Back in when I first came out of school, my first job was at the City of Miami Budget Department. And I was your budget analyst for a while. Chief Hickman was the one that was at that time. And since I learned how to respect the fire department and the different branches that you have, fire rescue, it is impressive what you do and so many lives that you have saved. That is why I've been pestering the past chief, as I'm going to be pestering you, that we need more trucks in different stations, because our elder population, it has been increasing, and we need to provide services for them and make it as fast as we can. So I have to congratulate you guys. And the bad thing about knowing and being part of you guys is for so long is that sometimes some of you have to leave and retire. And we are losing one of the best one of the best of that department, Eloy, and I want a round of applause for him because he's retired. You see, I think that I am going to propose a resolution, you see, trying to, doing something to keep him here. Because this guy has been an asset for so many years. Thank you for your service. And thank you, all of you guys, for your service.
Our next presentation is our City of Miami Police Explorers, the PAL program. You guys come on up. Thank you guys. Thank you. Did you see my podcast? I interviewed a firefighter from this Miami-Dade County.
So I'm the dispatch supervisor, but I'm here to represent my female chief who just got promoted to our division.
So
I drove by in the morning, they were open.
I'm going to turn this over to our police chief to tell us about this awesome program and our young people, where we recognize our police explorers almost every month. Just about every month for their excellence and what our PAL program is doing.
So good morning, everyone. Thank you, Madam Chair. What you're looking up here is one of the cornerstones of the Miami Police Department's community engagement strategy, right? It's going out there and having cops and the youth of our community come together to do great things. And what you're seeing out here is dedicated young men and women that take the time out of their busy schedules each and every day. And instead of being outside like every other kid playing video games or spending countless hours on social media, they're out there working hard. They're out there volunteering their time with the community. They're training, and it shows. I know she's taking a little selfie there, and it shows the pride that these folks bring. And it's not only about their deep desire to serve their community. It's about bettering the relationship between the police and the community. You'll see them out there in all our events. They were out there on the 4th of July. They're out there helping us out sometimes at the farm chairs. And in the summer, that's their main motivation, their main drive. So on behalf of myself, our entire staff, and now you're seeing that our elected officials truly appreciate your commitment, your dedication, right, and your passion to serve. Thank you. We appreciate you very, very much. Keep up the good work. Your future is extremely bright. You make the city of Miami and the Miami Police Department better for what you do. Congratulations.
Well, good morning, everyone. I'm Officer Carla Gonzalez, and I'm one of the 3 advisors for the Police Explore program. I can tell you on behalf of myself and my partners that I'm a former explorer. This program works, and I'm extremely proud of each and every one of you. The kids can be anywhere, but they choose to be here doing the right thing. So thank you on behalf of the entire program, guys. We're very proud of each and one of you. Our future, because they are our future, is looking very bright.
Papa, nobody's listening to you, man. I mean, you can keep doing the signal, but...
And at this time, we are going to recognize Dr. Pablo Herde. Come on up.
Thank you, Chairwoman, so much for giving me the honor to present the next proclamation. September, I don't know if you know, is Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. And I actually have a pin for you, which I'm wearing, that I want you to keep, because the next proclamation, we're giving it to Dr. Herder because of all the work and all the years and all the contributions he has done for St. Jude, an organization that for 60 years, over plus 60 years, has been helping families across the nation who are dealing with pediatric cancer. Just so that you know, he's a dedicated philanthropist, actively participating in the Red Cross and Rotary Club International, and for the past 15 years, he has fervently supported St. Jude Hospital, raising substantial funds for his nonprofit organization dedicated to curing childhood cancer, and currently serving as the chairman for the upcoming walk on September 28th, and I'm his co-chair. So it is my honor to present you with this proclamation on behalf of Mayor Francis Suarez and the entire City of Miami Commission.
Well, thank you for this proclamation. The name, on my name and the name of St. Jude Research Hospital. I don't know if you have a little idea or a big idea what St. Jude Hospital does for our community. St. Jude was founded in 1962, and back then the survival rate for kids with cancer was only 20%. At this point, 2024, the survival rate for cancer is over 80%. We're talking from 20 to 80% kids that can survive that illness. Every year in September is the Childhood Awareness Month, and Miami is special because we do so many events in the city of Miami to raise money for St. Jude. And St. Jude needs $2 million every day to operate the hospital and the whole program. And it's because of you, the community, the volunteers, some companies that sponsor us that we are able to do this every day. And everything St. Jude developed, it doesn't stay in the hospital. It's shared with the entire world. So every advance in medicine that the St. Jude does, it doesn't stay right there. It shares and is for free to every single hospital that treats kids with cancer around the world. So everybody's welcome to join us this coming September 28th for our walk run in the city of Miami. And thank you very much for the honor on my name and on behalf of the St. Jude.
Thank you. Thank you. And what he didn't say is that none of the families that attend St. Jude have to pay anything. Nothing. They don't have to pay anything. No housing, no anything. So you are having one of the worst moments of your life to be told that your child has cancer, but you don't have to worry financially because of the work that they do at St. Jude, because my family, we give every year to St. Jude. That's how I know. And we get that T-shirt. Yes. So I know the good work, and I couldn't imagine being told that my child had cancer. You know, it's awful. So thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I want to really, well, I've known about St. Jude way before I was diagnosed with cancer. And I have been a contributor, just thinking about my children and my grandchildren forever. Every month I send my check. And I am encouraging all of you guys to be generous and contribute, because this program, just as Madam Chair says, and I know for a fact because I have a couple of mothers that have come to me that their children had cancer. I have told them, go to St. Jude. And they were received with open arms and didn't have to pay a single penny. And their children were cured. So be generous, and let's help this institution that really deserves to be helped. Thank you for the work you do. Thank you.
So I just wanted to say that I appreciate what you do. I've known about St. Jude basically from a young age. My wife and I always supported the cause and still do. And I just want to say that who started it was Danny Thomas, the actor, and then Marlo Thomas, his daughter, continued to this day. And I just appreciate what you do for St. Jude, and I encourage others to. I'm always encouraging others to give to your cause. So thank you very much for what you do.
Thank you again. Thank you for what you do. And at this time, we are going to open our meeting with prayer. We have Pastor Rodney Edward today honoring us with the prayer for the meeting from the Church of God Evening Life. Morning.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Rodney Edwards, pastor for the Church of God Evening Life, 235 Northwest 47th Street. Glad to be here with you all. This time we'll look to God in a word of prayer. Dear God, today we give you thanks, Lord, Savior and keeper of all men. You bless this study we ask this day. We thank you, God, for the privilege to be here, dear God. The honor we felt, dear God, as we listen in deeply pray and see your Lord, responsibility, Lord, the trust that's placed on the shoulders, Lord, of your servants in this place. Bless everyone this day, we ask. Bless the meeting we ask in a very special way, Lord. May much be accomplished, therefore, we pray, dear God, and may the work go forward, dear Lord, to the glory of God. Keep them all, we pray, dear Lord. Bless the family we ask, and we thank you, dear God. These blessings we ask upon them, and we pray, dear Father, in Jesus' name. Amen. God bless everyone. It's a privilege to be here. I'm overwhelmed. I'm all.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Prayer changes things.
Yes,
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Long live America.
Thank you. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read your statement for the record?
Yes, Madam Chair, thank you. George Wysong, City Attorney. Detailed information about the processes, order of business, rules of procedure, and scheduling or rescheduling of City Commission meetings can be found in Chapter 2, Article 2 of the City Code, a copy of which is available online at www.munico.com. Any person who is a lobbyist pursuant to Chapter 2, Article 6 of the City Code must register with the City Clerk and comply with related city requirements for lobbyists before appearing before the City Commission. A person may not lobby a city official, board member, or staff member until registering. A copy of the code section about lobbyists is available in the City Clerk's office or online at www.munico.com. Any person making a presentation, formal request, or petition to the City Commission concerning real property must make the disclosures required by the City Code in writing. A copy of the City Code section is available at the office of the City Clerk or online at www.munico.com. The City of Miami requires that anyone requesting action by the City Commission must disclose before the hearing any consideration provided or committed to anyone for agreement or to support or withhold objection to the requested action pursuant to City Code Section 2-8. Any documents offered to the City Commission that have not been provided 7 days before the meeting as part of the agenda materials will be entered into the record at the City Commission's discretion. In accordance with Section 2-33F and G of the City Code, the agenda and the materials for each item on the agenda is available during business hours at the City Clerk's office and online 24 hours a day at www.miamigov.com. Any person may be heard by the City Commission through the chair for not more than 2 minutes on any proposition before the City Commission unless modified by the chair. Public comment will begin at approximately 10 a.m. and remain open until public comment is closed by the chairperson. Members of the public wishing to address the body may do so by submitting written comments via the online comment form. Please visit www.miamigov.com/meeting instructions for detailed instructions on how to provide public comment using the online public comment form. The comments submitted through the comment form have been and will be distributed to the elected officials, their staff, and city administration throughout the day so that the elected officials may consider the comments prior to taking any action. Additionally, the online comment form will remain open during the meeting to accept comments and distribute to elected officials, their staff, and the city administration up until the chairperson closes public comment. Public comment may also be provided live at City Hall, located at 3500 Pan American Drive, Miami, Florida, subject to any and all city rules as they may be amended. If the proposition is being continued or rescheduled, the opportunity to be heard may be at such later date before the City Commission takes action on such proposition. When addressing the City Commission, the member of the public must first state their name, their address, and what item will be spoken about. Any person with a disability requiring assistance, auxiliary aids, and services for this meeting may notify the City Clerk. The City has provided different public comment methods to indicate, among other things, the public's support, opposition, or neutrality on the items and topics to be discussed at the City Commission meeting in compliance with Section 286.0114(4C) Florida statutes. The public has been given the opportunity to provide public comment during the meeting and within reasonable proximity and time before the meeting. Please note, commissioners have generally been briefed by city staff and city attorney's office on items on the agenda today. Anyone wishing a verbatim record of an item considered at this meeting may request it at the Office of Communications or view it online at www.miamigov.com. Planning and zoning items shall proceed according to Section 7.1.4 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. Parties for any PZ items, including any applicant, appellant, appellee, city staff, and any person recognized by the decision-making body as a qualified intervener, as well as the applicant's representatives and any experts testifying on behalf of the applicant, appellant, or appellee may be physically present at City Hall to be sworn in by oath or affirmation by the City Clerk. The members of the City Commission shall disclose any ex parte communications to remove the presumption of prejudice pursuant to Florida statutes Section 286.0115 and Section 7.1.4.5 of the Miami 21 zoning ordinance. The order of presentation shall be as set forth in Miami 21 and in the City Code. Staff will briefly present each item to be heard. The applicant will present its application or request to the City Commission. If the applicant agrees with the staff recommendation, the City Commission may proceed to its deliberation and decision. The applicant may also waive the right to an evidentiary hearing on the record. For appeals, the appellant will present its appeal to the City Commission, followed by the appellee. Staff will be allowed to make any recommendation they may have. Please silence all cell phones and other noise-making devices. This meeting can be viewed live on Miami TV, the city's Facebook page, the city's Twitter page, the city's YouTube page, and Comcast Channel 77. The broadcast will also have closed captioning. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. Mr. City Clerk, would you please read your statement for the record?
Thank you, Chair. The procedures for individuals who will be providing testimony to be sworn in for planning and zoning items and any quasi-judicial items on today's City Commission agenda will be as follows. The members of City staff or any other individuals required to be sworn in who are currently present at City Hall will be sworn in by me, the City Clerk, immediately after I finish explaining these procedures. Those individuals who are appearing remotely may be sworn in now or at any time prior to the individual providing testimony for planning and zoning items and or quasi-judicial items. Commissioners, are you comfortable with all the notice provisions set forth in these uniform rules and procedures we have established for this meeting? Chair,
Yes,
may I administer the oath for the planning and zoning items?
please.
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. If you are speaking on any of today's planning and zoning items, the PZ items, may I please have you stand and raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at today's hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? And your response is? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. At this time, Mr. Manager, are there any items on the agenda that are going to be deferred or withdrawn?
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Mr. City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk. At this time, the administration does not have any items to defer and or withdraw.
I'm going to ask my colleagues as well. Mr. Vice Chair, do you have any items that you would like to withdraw or defer from this agenda?
Not at this point in time, Madam Chair. I would like to leave a couple of items for the afternoon session. Would you like me to go into them, or?
No, we can
Okay.
address that after.
Okay.
Let me
All
just,
right.
let's get the agenda approved. Commissioner, do you have any?
So I was going to say one thing in the briefing. I believe the city manager wanted us to take FR1 first. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I spoke
Before
to the
11. I believe we can get to it before 11, and if we run close to time, I'll stop what we're doing and take it up. Commissioner Pardo?
None.
Commissioner Reyes? At this time, may I have a motion?
My apologies. There is one pocket item. May I just introduce that into the record?
Yes, please start.
Thank you, Chair. Chair King will sponsoring a resolution directing the City Attorney to prepare a charter amendment question to be heard at the July 25th City Commission meeting regarding the city's residency requirement to run for mayor and commissioner. I can read the title of the pocket resolution. A resolution of the Miami City Commission directing the City Attorney to prepare an amendment to the Charter of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, for consideration at a special election to be held on November 5th, 2024, proposing upon approval of the electorate to amend Section 4 of the Charter, titled Form of Government, Nomination, and Election, to require continuous residency immediately preceding qualifying for the offices of Commissioner Mayor, providing for an immediate effective date. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. May I have a motion to set the agenda? I have a motion and a second. No, not necessary.
No motions necessary.
For the agenda?
For the agenda, no, because you're not deferring, withdrawing,
okay,
or...
I got you. Okay. At this time, we will open the floor for public comment. If anyone is here who would like to speak on the items on our agenda, please step forward. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. My name is Rick Madan. I'm the president of the Biscayne Neighborhoods Association, and I live at 2900 Northeast 7th Avenue in Miami. The Biscayne Neighborhood Association supports RE8, the proposal to redevelop the northern side of Watson Island. The proposal aims to create much-needed public spaces and amenities for Miami residents, including a new public park, which has generated significant excitement within our community. BNA represents condo associations in Edgewater and Midtown neighborhoods. The redevelopment would provide essential green space and public amenities near the BNA's area of operation, greatly enhancing the quality of life for residents. The new park promises to be a valuable addition, offering improved air quality, reduced stormwater runoff, and increased property values. BNA emphasizes the importance of maintaining open dialogue throughout the development process to ensure community needs and concerns are addressed, including a transparent discussion of traffic studies to mitigate any potential impact on the neighborhood. The BNA also strongly advocates for the impact fees and other tax dollars generated by District 2 to be reinvested in infrastructure projects within our community. This reinvestment would ensure long-term commitment to the well-being of our residents and support improvements like flood mitigation, waste management, and pedestrian safety measures. The tax base in District 2 has grown immensely, yet Edgewater and surrounding neighborhoods continue to face critical infrastructure challenges. Flooding during heavy rains disrupts daily life. Overflowing garbage bins create sanitation concerns, and uneven sidewalks pose safety hazards for pedestrians. We need some of these funds to address these issues and create a more livable environment for all residents. Investing in District 2's infrastructure not only benefits our residents, but also strengthens the overall appeal of Miami. As a cornerstone of the city's urban core, a well-maintained District 2 benefits all of Miami. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Grady Muhammad, Chairman of AFLO, a future leader of the world. Resolution 8, we have to understand, was from 2007 with Parrot Jungle. It was sold to ESJ. Now it's being sold to Resiliency to do condominiums. Well, jobs, 603 jobs was promised to the black community. None of those jobs was ever done. Then they proposed a hotel. That was not done. I can assure you, these condos will be done. I'm not against the project. 13.3 acres of the public park at their expense is great. But whatever happened to the jobs that the black community was supposed to get? This Section 108 loan will be repaid to the city and the county. I'm the one who, at that time, was a Miami-Dade County resident, now City of Miami resident, that had the county transfer the 80% from the county to the city. Jobs was promised. Jobs was never given. One unit may cost $5 million. There was never any slum and blight, which is what you need with the Section 108. That's always been prime City of Miami real estate. It is not even more valuable now. Millions and millions of dollars was never come to the black community through Community Development Block Grant, CDBG. Our census tract, demographic, density of poverty, poverty statistics, and demographics of poverty bring down these federal revenue sharing dollars. Well, this is 2024. It started in 1974. 50 years, but the black community is still poor. With this development, you all have a right to approve it. But the black community must get something out of this deal because we've been promised. We get tired of getting played while everybody else is getting paid. This is my son. He just graduated. He was 2 years old. Now he's 18 and he's graduated. We're still getting played and everybody else is getting paid. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Dorfman. I'm on the board of directors of Biscayne Neighborhoods Association and treasurer. BNA now represents 7,000 apartments in Edgewater and growing rapidly. I am here in support of RE8. We in the neighborhood like the idea of getting a 13-acre park on Watson Island, wherein the developer is willing to take care of the park. On the issue of green space, Edgewater is in need of our own tax dollars staying more so in Edgewater for the infrastructure, flood mitigation, transportation, and green space, because we currently have 7,545 new units currently being built or planned in Edgewater alone. Edgewater is a major donor town financially for the city of Miami. We need, and more than half of our tax dollars are leaving, but we need it for those issues. We want everyone, all the commissioners in the city of Miami, to recognize and work with our District 2 commissioner to work towards not choking off the financial engine of the city by leaving more tax dollars in District 2 so we can take care of our needs, so we can grow and help other districts. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Eric Sakella, 2100 Crowell Way on RE10. This item is related to the RTZ. I'm not going to tell you anything that you don't know, but there's an affordability crisis in this community right now, largely driven by a lack of supply that's available in the marketplace. And while the litigation's ongoing related to, between the city and the county, related to rapid transit zoning, the financing markets are essentially frozen. And any developer who owns a piece of property that's zoned in the RTZ can't get financing right now for construction during the pendency of your litigation. So to the extent that you all wish to go forward and prosecute this litigation further, my only request to you would be that you strongly consider giving your city attorney direction to resolve it as expeditiously as possible and to resolve it as a matter of law rather than facts. So, this is a matter of law. You can drag it out, make it last a lot longer by making it a trial of facts, but we encourage you to give your city attorney direction to resolve this as a matter of law. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Buenos dias, Chairwoman, Commissioners. My name is Orlando Alonso, and I am here to inspire you all as champions of the Olympia Theater. Remember that place? Today, you have a shade meeting to discuss a lawsuit with the Guzman family. It's item AC1 on your agenda. In 1975, Maurice Guzman donated the Olympia Theater to the city of Miami. Now the Guzman family wants it back as he has been neglected by the city. Can you blame them? This is your chance to prove them wrong. The future of downtown's Miami beautiful historic theater is in your hands. I trust you will not give up our city's most treasured asset. This is one of the world's most beautiful theaters where Celia Cruz, Elvis Presley, and Pavarotti have performed. If you have not visited your own treasure lately, please ask City Manager Aaron Noriega to take you all on a tour. He helped save the Olympia Theater before, and I'm sure he would like to save it again. But he needs your help. What you may not know is that the city already has a plan that has not been enacted. Showing that, Judge, that plan and putting it into motion will show the Guzman family and the rest of the world that Miami can restore its greatest historic asset. A few years ago, the city hired the architect Richard Heisenbottle to calculate a budget for restoration of the theater and draw up designs. The city put together an RFP seeking a developer to restore and activate the theater. I know that this RFP received 0 bids. I know that because I was one of the bidders ready to bid for this project. Unfortunately, the city needs to rethink how this RFP can be reissued, and I would love to talk to you and your teams if you give me the opportunity on how to make this work and how to make it better. My name is Orlando Alonso. I'm a Cuban-American pianist, conductor, entrepreneur. I live here in Miami, and I am at your disposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Madeline Llanes. I'm the Executive Director of Centro Mater. I am here on behalf of the thousands of children and families that we serve. And I'm here also to personally thank Commissioner Carollo for item PH13 for his unconditional and always supporting our mission. For some of you that I have not met, the new commissioners, Centro Mater has been in the community for close to 60 years. It started as a place where the children arriving from Cuba in the 60s will go while their parents were making a new life in Miami. And the mission has continued. The essence is still there. And Commissioner Carollo has been with us every step of the way since he was mayor of Miami. He knows about what we do and how we change lives. And we do this with the utmost pride because it's an honor to serve, especially the future of this community. So through our doors, thousands have come in looking for a better life. And we're still standing stronger than ever. And it is because of the support of the city of Miami, our commissioner, that not only support us through the CDBG and other funding, but also backpack drives for the beginning of the school year, food donations during Thanksgiving, Christmas, and many other things that are available to our community. He's there. So I thank you, Commissioner, for all your support, and also the city of Miami for many, many years of wonderful and rich relationship. And I invite each and all of you to visit Centro Mater. We're on the corner of 4th and 4th in Little Havana. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Torres.
Good morning. How are you today?
No complaints.
Good. I have some. Just kidding. I'm kidding. James Torres, President of DNA. The board of directors and myself as president would like to support RE 8 and 9. We do have a letter of support on that I'd like to hand to the clerk. You heard earlier today from our counterparts in Edgewater as it relates to the green space that could be coming back to that area. We fully support that. One of the caveats that we've asked for on the developer side is that it's a passive park as a non-entertainment park, a true park, so that way we get away from all the noise ordinances and things of that issue. So if you would please consider that as well in that. The next item that I'd like to speak on is SR3, the homeless issue that was brought up by Commissioner Reyes. We'd like to thank you for bringing that up. We do want to champion that with you. And also the mayor's office has been supportive of that as well, with Debbie Blass helping us on a regular basis. However, there's one thing that we'd like to ask you, Commissioner Reyes, is to please include some type of language in terms of enforcing the feedings that are happening, because that's been a very lackadaisical approach by the city. And it's constantly creating issues in the downtown core with the trash that's left over on the weekends.
Madam Chair, if I may. Yes, I'm aware of it, and I have been talking to, we were talking to the department that is in charge of that, because they are not fulfilling, the department is not doing the job that it was requested for them to do, because every time there's a feeding, they must have all the people there that provide support for the homeless.
Correct.
And we are not doing that, and we have to enforce it, that the police department and everybody else have to enforce that. And we don't need a resolution or anything. What we need is directives.
But as long as we are able to enforce that with the will of the body pushing that forward, that would greatly help the downtown areas.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. I have been a witness, and I am not too happy with what I've seen.
Okay.
Thank you.
Greatly appreciate that. So basically the support is for SR3 and then RE 8 and 9, which was brought up by Commissioner Pardo as well, to move forward. And we greatly thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. Steve Warnick, address 396 Alhambra. Here today on behalf of 5900 West Little Haiti LLC and Midgard Group on items PZ3 and 4. These are land use and zoning changes, which in part will help keep the laundromat art space and the working artists in the community in Little Haiti. We have worked very closely with a number of stakeholders in the neighborhood, residents, business owners, property owners. We've worked with the Little Haiti Revitalization Trust, and these are really just focusing on making sure we can continue to make positive improvements in the community. We do have also, I forgot to mention, just great support from the Planning Department, and the Planning Zoning Appeals Board has recommended approval on these items. I do have today a copy of a letter of support that it was issued by the Little Haiti Revitalization Trust that I'll put into the record, as well as a covenant that is associated with item PZ4. And again, this has been thoroughly discussed and with a lot of input from folks in the community, and we very much appreciate your support today. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Seeing none, the public comment period is now closed. Gentlemen, may I have a motion to approve the commission minutes for April 25th and May 9th?
Move it.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. May I have a motion to approve pocket item 1?
Move it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We are now on the consent agenda.
Move all of the A's.
Do I have, would anyone like to pull in CA 1 or 2 for discussion? In that case, may I have a motion?
Hold on,
Second.
And a
hold on,
second.
please.
Hold on 1 second.
Just give me 1 second to go over it.
You're getting slow, you know that?
I didn't take my smart pill like you did today.
I still don't take it.
but I could walk without being held by the hand.
That's right.
All right.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Gentlemen, we have 13 PH items. Of those items, are there any that you would like to pull for discussion?
Okay. PH items.
I'm good.
2 are 4/5.
Yes. 13 is 4/5 and 11 is 4/5.
Correct.
If we're going to group them together, we have to leave them out.
No, not necessarily.
Well, we have the everybody.
If you want to, I'll pull it if you want to discuss. If not, I'll
Okay,
just run it.
okay. Whatever you say, boss.
And Chair, sorry for the new reminder. I will just need for PH1 and PH2 to pass before we get to the other PH items. So
I'll take those out of order just to make sure. Okay.
Motion?
I have a motion and a second for PH1 and PH2. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And now may I have a motion for PH 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13.
Motion. Second.
just for the record, PH 3, 4, 6, 7, and 11 will be as amended.
As amended.
It's amended.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously, and those items as amended.
That's right.
We are now on our resolutions. The first one is a mitigation. Is staff ready to present? RE1.
Mr. Mayor.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chairwoman. Apologies about that. Robert Santos Alborna, Co-Compliance Director. Item RE1 is a mitigation of a property located at 58 Northwest 26th Street. Respondent is 5058 Northwest 26th Street, LLC. Violations are for failure to maintain lot in clean, safe condition and failure to register. Notice of violation issued on October 2nd, 2019, adjudicated on March 11th, 2020. The violation ran for 686 days, accruing a total of $171,500. And I understand from our legal department that the respondent is offering $15,000.
Which is what?
Which is equivalent to 8.75% of the accrued amount.
Madam Chair, for the record, Javier Fernandez, good morning. With Law Officer 201, Alhambra Circle, Suite 1205. On the advice of counsel, confirmed with my client, we'd like to revise our proffer to the amount of $25,725, which would be, I believe, 15% exactly of the outstanding amount of fines.
May I have a motion?
Motion.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
I will be abstaining from this vote just because I have a conflict.
Okay.
Thank you.
Motion carries 4-0.
It would be 4-0.
4-0. Okay.
Thank you.
And as amended.
As amended. And we have,
Thank you.
of the remaining RE items, and there's a 4/5 RE10, would any of my colleagues like to pull for discussion?
No. I don't.
Sorry, and
RE. The RE items.
yes, I'd like to pull RE2 for discussion, and I'd like to leave RE8 and 9 for the afternoon session.
We may not have an afternoon
We might
session
not
at the where we're going, but okay.
Then, if we don't have an afternoon session, then for it
Take it
to
up
be
now.
the last items that we deal with.
Okay. In that case,
I need to get a little more information.
got you. So may I have a motion to pass RE 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11?
Sorry, 3,
It's
4?
It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, and 11.
7,
Madam Chair?
10, and 11.
And just for the record, RE3, RE4, RE5, and RE3, 4, and 5 will be as amended.
Got it.
And,
I have a motion and a second for, let me repeat, RE 3, 4, and 5 as amended, 6, 7, 10, and 11. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read the titles into the record for SR 1, 2, and 3?
Yes, Madam Chair. SR 1, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 20 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida as amended, City Code, titled Flood Damage Prevention, providing recertification of existing drainage systems and providing standards for development in special flood hazard areas and non-special flood hazard areas as newly defined and providing for an effective date. SR 2, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 2, Article 4, Division 2, Section 2-211, titled Administration, Departments Planning, Building and Zoning Department, Denial or Revocation of Certificate of Use, to conform Section 2-211 to the motion approved by the City Commission and to remove language related to repeat offenders containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. SR 3, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 37 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida as amended code titled Offenses Miscellaneous, more particularly by amending Section 37-16 of the Code prohibiting encampments on public property, providing for an additional definitions and procedures for enforcement, repealing a prerequisite for enforcement provided in Ordinance Number 14032, containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Now I'm going to ask my colleagues, of these 3 items, are there any that you would like to pull for discussion? SR 1, 2, or 3?
you said SR 1?
SR 1, 2, or 3?
You're saying, SR 1, 2, or 3?
Yeah.
Let me, yes, SR 2.
You want to pull SR 2 for discussion?
Yes, SR 2 for discussion. And that's the only one that I see.
Okay.
SR 2.
I move 1 and 3.
So I have a motion for SR 1 and
Second.
SR 3. And I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. City Attorney, would you read into the record the titles for the first reading ordinances?
Yes, Madam Chair. FR 1, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission pursuant to resolution number R24-0148 adopted on April 25th, 2024, amending Chapter 40, Article 4, Division 2 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Personnel, Pensions and Retirement Plan, City of Miami Firefighters and Police Officers Retirement Trust, more particularly by amending Section 40-191, titled Definitions, to amend the definition of earnable compensation to clarify changes for police officers based on the Fraternal Order of Police, Walter E. Headley, Jr., Miami Lodge Number 20 Collective Bargaining Agreement for October 1, 2023 through September 30, 2026, containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. FR 2, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 40, Article 4, Division 4 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Personnel, Pension and Retirement Plan, City of Miami Elected Officials Retirement Trust, or particularly by amending Section 40-291, titled Definitions, and Section 40-296, titled Applicable Benefits, containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. FR 3, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 10, Article 6, Section 101 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, City Code, titled Buildings, Unsafe Structures, and Unsafe Structures Panel, to require certain residential building owners to house and pay for reasonable relocation costs of displaced residents, containing a severability clause providing for an effective date. FR 4, an ordinance by the Miami City Commission amending Chapter 2, Article 10, Section 2-817 of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, titled Administration, Code Enforcement, Administrative Costs, Fines, Liens, to amend and provide for the Code Enforcement Board or Special Magistrate to consider all mitigations of code enforcement liens, containing a severability clause and providing for an immediate effective date. That's the end of the first readings.
Gentlemen, are there any of the FR items
Yes,
that you would
yes,
like to
ma'am.
pull for discussion?
I would like to pull FR2 so you can vote independently on it.
Yeah, so would I.
You'd like to pull that?
Yeah, you're in agreement?
Yes.
Okay, for discussion.
That's what,
Any other items of the FR?
Yes, for discussion. FR4.
Okay. Anyone else?
nope. And I move FR1 and FR3.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for FR1 and FR3. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
That was FR 1 and 3, right?
One
One
and
and
three. Yes.
Madam Chair, I ask for deferral of FR2 because this item came before the City Commission about 4 or 5 years ago.
Wait, we aren't on the discussion yet.
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
I'm going to go back to the RE items. And
Oh, okay.
I'm
You said that.
I'm just trying to get
I thought
through.
that you wanted to
Yeah,
get
no,
rid
no,
of
no,
it.
no, no, no.
Okay, fine. Whatever you say.
Mr. City Attorney, do we have any board appointments?
Thank you, Chair. Yes. BC1, Affordable Home Ownership Loan Program Task Force. Chair King will be reappointing Jasmine Johnson.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
I have a motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
BC9, Commission on the Status of Women and Quality of Life Committee. Chair King will be appointing Clavel Brown Jennings with a 4/5 employment waiver.
May I have a
Move it.
motion? I have a motion. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That concludes the boards and committees. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Let's see. Can we wrap up the PZ items? Mr. City Attorney, would you please read for the record our PZ items?
Yes,
the
Madam Chair.
titles.
PZ1, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending ordinance number 10544 as amended the future land use map of the Miami Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan pursuant to small-scale amendment procedures subject to section 163.3187 Florida statutes by changing the future land use designation from public parks and recreation to restricted commercial of the acreage described herein of real property at 20 Southeast 10th Street and 25 Southeast 10th Street, Miami, Florida, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings and providing for an effective date. PZ2, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments, amending the zoning atlas of ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, Miami 21 Code, by changing the zoning classification from CS, Civic Space Transect Zone, to T648B0, BO rather, Urban Core Transect Zone Open of the property generally located at 20 Southeast 10th Street and 25 Southeast 10th Street, Miami, Florida, more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. PZ3, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments, amending ordinance number 10544 as amended the future land use map of the Miami Comprehensive Neighborhood Plan pursuant to small-scale amendment procedures subject to section 163.3187 Florida statutes by changing the future land use designation from medium-density multifamily residential to restricted commercial of the acreage described herein of real property located at 185 Northeast 59th Street and 175 Northeast 59th Street, Miami, Florida, as more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings and providing for an effective date. And finally, PZ4, an ordinance of the Miami City Commission with attachments amending the zoning atlas of ordinance number 13114, the zoning ordinance of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended by changing the zoning classification from T5R, Urban Center Transit Zone Restricted, to T50, Urban Center Transit Zone Open, of the property generally located at 185 Northeast 59th Street and 175 Northeast 59th Street, Miami, Florida, more particularly described in Exhibit A, attached and incorporated, making findings containing a severability clause and providing for an effective date. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Are there any items that you guys would like to pull for discussion in the PZ items 1, 2, 3, or 4? Okay, I just want to wait for Commissioner Reyes to come back. I don't want to have the vote without him. Or pass, he may want to. Okay. In the meantime, I'll have our city attorney read the script he has to put in the record for our shade meeting.
All right, thank you. This is a request for a new shade meeting from our outside counsel, Mr. Chairman and Madam Chairman, and members of the City Commission. Pursuant to the provisions of Section 286.011, parentheses 8, Florida statutes, I'm requesting that at the City Commission meeting of July 25, 2024, an attorney-client session closed to the public be held for purposes of discussing the pending litigation in the matters of 1. The Mad Room LLC, DBA Ball and Chain, Altos Mexicano LLC, DBA Taquerias El Mexicano, Little Havana Arts Building LLC, and La Gran Fiesta LLC versus City of Miami, case number 21-CV-23485 RKA, pending in the United States District Court for the Southern District of Florida. Case number 2, Tower Hotel LLC, a Florida limited liability company, Piedra Villas LLC, a Florida limited liability company, Beat Stick LLC, a Florida limited liability company, El Shopping LLC, a Florida limited liability company, and Joamo Calle Siete LLC, a Florida limited liability company. Plaintiffs versus City of Miami defendant and City of Miami counter plaintiff versus Tower Hotel LLC, Beat Stick LLC, counter defendants, and William Fuller, Martin Padilla, Ben Bush, Zach Bush, Altos Mexicana, LLC, DBA Taquerias El Mexicano, BNZ Bar, LLC, BNZ Fiesta, LLC, Calle Marketplace, LLC, Charlie Licksters, LLC, La Gran Fiesta, LLC, Little Havana Arts Building, LLC, Mad Room, LLC, DBA Ball and Chain, and Joamo Calle Ocho LLC, third-party defendants, case number 2022-008069 CA44, pending in the Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit and in 4 Miami-Dade County, Florida. And 3, Tower Hotel LLC, a Florida limited liability company, Piedras Villas LLC, a Florida limited liability company, Beat Stick LLC, a Florida limited liability company, El Shopping LLC, a Florida limited liability company, and Joamo Calle Siete LLC, a Florida limited liability company versus City of Miami, case number 3D 23-285, pending in the District Court of Appeal of the State of Florida, 3rd District, to which the city is presently a party. The subject of the meeting will be confined to settlement negotiations or strategy sessions related to litigation expenditures. This private meeting will begin at approximately 10 a.m. or soon thereafter as the Commissioner's schedules permit and conclude approximately 1 hour later. The session will be attended by the members of the City Commission, which include Chairwoman Christine King, Vice Chairman Joe Carollo, Commissioners Miguel Angel Gabella, Damian Pardo, and Manolo Reyes, the City Manager Art Noriega, the 5th, the City Attorney George K. Weissong III, Chief Deputy City Attorney John A. Greco, Deputy City Attorney Kevin R. Jones, Assistant City Attorneys Eric Eves and Marguerite Snyder, and City of Miami's outside counsel Raquel A. Rodriguez Esquire, Michael E. Dutko Esquire, and Angel A. Cortinas Esquire. A certified court reporter will be present to ensure that this session is fully transcribed, and the transcript will be made public upon the conclusion of the litigation. At the conclusion of the attorney-client session, the regular commission meeting will be reopened, and the person chairing the commission meeting will announce the termination of the attorney-client session. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Reyes, do you have any items on the PZ? I have a motion and a second.
Madam Chair, I apologize. PZ4 is as amended with the revisions of the proffered covenant submitted.
As amended. So I have a motion and a second for PZ 1, 2, 3, and 4 as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Now we shall go back to, because one of the FR items is time sensitive. FR2 was pulled for discussion.
Oh, Chair, we've addressed the FR item that was time sensitive. We're good to go there.
Oh, well, I'm just working my way backwards anyway. So FR2 was pulled for discussion. Commissioner Reyes asked if we could defer that item. I would prefer not to defer the item, so let's discuss it. You did.
You wanted to talk on it. You wanted to talk on it.
Just to
discussion.
Just to discuss. Okay. So let's put some ground rules for our discussion, that we start with 5 minutes and we work our way down.
I'm going to be, Madam Chair, very short.
Oh, great.
And straight to the point.
Okay.
Like most of the time.
Yes, that is true.
Okay. This item came before us, I would say about 3-4 years ago or more. And I stated at the time, I don't criticize anybody, and this is not personal against anybody that promotes this. But while I was running for office, I made a commitment, I made a statement to everybody that asked me if I was running to get, I wanted to be a commissioner to get a pension. At the time, they didn't know that it was the pension, but I always stated that I didn't got elected to get a pension. I voted no at that time. I'm very consistent. And whatever you decide, I will accept, but my vote will be no. That's the only, I wanted to clarify that, what's my position. It is a position that I took while I was a candidate, and it's a position that I'm going to maintain as a City of Miami Commissioner.
Thank you for that. And to your concern, for our colleagues, there is a provision that would require affirmative action. There's a 10 calendar day opt-in period. So for those commissioners who are not interested in having a pension, you don't have to elect to take it. I received a very thoughtful email from a constituent who said that she didn't have an issue with us receiving a pension, and myself, I'm a co-sponsor. One of the things that she mentioned was extending the age to 62, and I thought that was very smart because most pensions, you get them at 62, so we're not looking to receive them at 55 or anything like that. I support this item for several reasons. One, public service does not allow you to have a traditional job while you're a public servant. This is a 24/7, sometimes more, job, and many municipalities throughout Miami-Dade County have pensions for their elected officials, in addition to, but for a few of our electeds, there was a pension provision, and then they took it away. So some elected officials of the City of Miami receive a pension, and now we are not entitled to a pension. So I support this item for those reasons. I do support the opt-in provision that requires a commissioner to take an affirmative action to say, yes, I want this pension, and if you don't, that's fine. You don't opt in, and you won't receive the pension. But I don't think that it is fair for, like Commissioner Reyes says, it's not for him, but he is not going to trouble it for the rest of us and what is good for us or our families moving forward. Anyone else like to chime in?
Not at this time. Yeah, I'd like to speak on it. Do you want to go first? So I am also a proponent. I co-sponsored this with you, Madam Chair. I, like also you, Commissioner Reyes, did not come here to get a pension. Right now, I want everybody to know that there is a system in place where when we leave, we get a 401k. And this is just a distinction, whether you want the 401k or you want the pension, like every other employee in the City of Miami, and like former commissioners that put this into effect, where back then we had the 2007-2008 financial crisis, and about 3 years later, it was stated that the city was in bad condition, and those commissioners took action. But, you know, the funny thing is they didn't do it to themselves, okay? Let's take the facts here, okay? Let's say how it is. They did it to the ones that came after, and that's the truth of the matter. And I, for one, I'll tell you what, I, for one, and I say this with modesty, I'm not going to depend on that pension because I have my little assets in real estate that my wife and I have assembled through the years. So I'm not looking for this. But I think, like you, Commissioner King, that it's unfair, really, that, you know, we're doing the same work or more than other previous commissioners. And this is a plus 70%, 80% job. This is not a part-time job by any means. If you're going to do it right, I think Commissioner Pardo realizes that, Commissioner Reyes, Commissioner Carrillo, you, and I, we realize that. This is a full commitment. And so, therefore, I am supporting it for that reason, that I think we need to level the field, okay? And if other city employees and if other elected officials, like ourselves commissioners, are getting the other thing. And understand we are not giving ourselves a pay increase. This is not that. We are not going retroactive. This is not. This is simply that we're opting that you get a chance to opt whether you want the pension or you want the one lump sum. Really is what this is. So we're not doing this anything new. You know, I wanted to state that on the record, and I wanted to, like Commissioner Reyes, I wanted to bring it out because I don't want to just do a vote and then they'll say, oh, wait a minute, they didn't want to bring it to the floor. So we want to be transparent, and I want to be and yes, some of my constituents also had concern, but this is the other value that I think we bring to this. You have to compensate people for what they do. Okay, at the end of the day, you have to compensate people, and you want good people to serve. You know, and this is just an extension of that. I think that's the value that's brought to future commissioners and mayors. Okay, that you know they're doing this job, you know, and they have something, so they don't have to do other things that other commissioners have gotten in trouble for. That's where I stand, and I want to be clear on that. However, if this body chooses not to do this, I am fine. Like I said, you know, honestly, I am not going to depend on this for my retirement. But I think it's about time that the field is leveled, because, like I say again, other commissioners are getting this, has always gotten it, and I just think it's fair that all of us that are doing the same job or better are entitled to the same thing. Thank you very much.
Commissioner Pardo?
Madam Chair, I oppose this item for many reasons, but not everything that's been discussed here. There's validity in everything. But it really comes across as self-dealing. We're passing this for ourselves. A 401k contribution comes from the individual, but a pension comes from taxpayers. So I would like to see this discussed as part of charter review or a ballot question on the measure, and let the voters decide on this point.
I got an idea. Tell you what, I like your idea. Tell you what, let's do something. Let's take it off for everybody, including the guys that are receiving now, because I stated again on the record. By the way, the 401k that we get when we leave, Commissioner Pardo, that's sponsored also by the taxpayer. That's not us completely, and I think you know that. Now, what I say is, you know what? I'm prepared to do that, but let's make it even better. Let's go back to the guys that said that, you know, the city was in turmoil, and, you know, this shouldn't be, because here's the thing. Those guys that did it to the rest that they came after, those guys get it. So I say, you know, let's go one step further and let's take it off completely, and then we won't have this issue. I'm down for that.
No, no, you can't.
Oh, we can't do that.
No, you can't do that. And Commissioner Pardo, I respect what you say. It is not self-dealing. I don't agree with that at all. However, that opt-in policy, you don't have to take it. And that's the beauty of this legislation. If you're not in favor of it, but you don't have to decide what is best for not only this body, but commissioners to come.
But it's not about taking it or not taking it. It's about the way that
No,
just let me finish. It's about the way that it's being approved. I mean, if we can put gym equipment on the ballot, I think we can put this on the ballot.
You know what? I agree. I have no reservations to put it on the ballot.
Well, I don't agree with that. Other municipalities have not gone to put this on the ballot. It's here before us. Let's take our vote. We've heard from everybody. May I have a motion for FR2?
I will present the motion, Madam Chair, and let me say this. Whether this gets passed or not, the only person up here that is presently entitled to a pension is myself, that can be taken by state law. So I'm not voting this for me to get a pension. I have one already. And I may add, this is a pension that was adopted by the City Commission in 1994. None of you were members of this body then, nor was I. I was elected citywide, back when we had citywide commissioners, in November 1995. And then mayor about 7 months later in 1996. So I never voted than in the pension. But it is not fair, and I've heard what Commissioner Gabela has stated, and it's true. There were people that were sitting here some years back that they said, no, we have to do away with the pensions, but not for them. Not for them. So the only way that you could bring some balance, not fully, but some, is by doing this. In fact, what is being proposed, and I've looked at it, is now you need to be 62 years of age to receive a pension. And yeah, you are vested, Commissioner. Well, I've been vested for a long time. So these are my reasons for voting yes. There are many areas that we are duly authorized to approve. Not every vote that we make has to be brought up to a general vote, otherwise we would never finish a lot of the work that we have. So, having said that, Madam Chair, I'm ready for a vote.
So I have a motion and a second. We need to.
Who's the seconder?
Commissioner Gabela.
Can I say one more thing, and let me add that to the record, okay? That, like the gentleman was saying, that maybe this should be done through referendum. I don't remember back then when the gentleman that did this to take the pension, but they didn't do it to themselves, like Mr. Commissioner Carrillo was saying. I don't remember them doing it by referendum. As a matter of fact, I think they did it by resolution, like we're doing here today. So there's a certain hypocrisy there. That you tell me that the city of Miami is in turmoil because we just came out of the 2008 financial crisis, and we need to tighten the belt, which I understand, but to me that has value and it's moral if they would have done it to themselves. But what must be understood here is, like Commissioner Garcia said, was they took the vote, but they excluded themselves, and they are still getting those pensions. The only thing we're doing here is we're giving the option of, hey, do you want to go out with a lump sum? Because, by the way, when we leave here, if you serve the 8 years, you do get one lump sum. Let's put it out there in the record. Why are we getting away from this? And this is only to say, no, you know what? I don't want the lump sum. I'll take the retirement plan. And again, I fail to see where here we are doing something immoral when the ones that started this a couple of years back, they were the ones that I think was done. What they did was done incorrectly because they didn't do it to themselves. Had they done it to themselves, then that would have held weight, and I would have never brought this up. But I want to level the field, and like I said, I want to bring value to future commissioners. All right, and that's all it is. And I fail to see. And by the way, if this body wants to do it by referendum, I'll do it by referendum and let the voters decide. But back then, I reiterate, the commissioners that were here that thought it was a good idea, but not a good idea for themselves. So do what I say, but not as I do. Okay, they didn't go to referendum. They did it like we're doing the reverse here. Just want to put that on the record.
Thank you. So I have a motion and a second, and the city clerk needs to read something in for the record for this.
Thank you, Chair. The mover and seconder have incorporated in their motion the substitution memo from July 9, 2024. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
No.
No.
Motion carries 3-2. Thank you. SR2 was pulled for discussion.
But by the way, Chairwoman, the 401c, which is a pension that we all receive, Mr. Vela, can you tell me when that went to a referendum to be approved?
Was when?
The 401k that we don't get for pension.
No, it was just done.
Exactly.
I'm being transparent. I'm being transparent.
Exactly. That's the point that I'm trying to make.
It's a completely different retirement plan.
But
you can't compare that to a pension.
But wait a minute. The taxpayer. Wait a minute. Let's put that on the record. The taxpayer is paying for that plan. The taxpayer is paying for that plan. Let's put that on the record. Okay. That we leave with a lump sum and the taxpayer. Now, I got an idea. You know, if you guys want to be bold, tell you what, let's do a referendum that all the pensions now in November, including from those guys that did it.
We
let's
can't
do
do
that.
that.
We can't do that. Oh, that one can't
So
be done.
let's take FR4.
I got it. That one can't be
FR4
done.
was pulled for discussion.
FR4, yes.
FR4. Vice Chair?
As I understand this, what this ordinance is trying to do is that now that we're going in back, besides the Code Enforcement Board, but to have magistrates, the cases that we're hearing before the commission now that are extreme cases. These are people that the ordinance that we have passed all the time lines and didn't either pay the amount that they had to pay, nor did they correct the violations that they had. Is that correct? And the effect of this?
So where's Robert? Is Robert here? Robert can explain a little bit. The idea of Commissioner was to get away from all this case law that we have of, and the red tape, and Robert can explain it a little bit better in detail.
Let's see if we can hear it.
Or Jose can? Which of the two are? Robert?
Madam Chair, may I ask something? Yes, the way that I read this, we are, at City Commission, we are relinquishing our authority to be the last resource for some people that they have, they have a case and they want to bring it to us. And I think that is our right and it is our duty. So if this is what I think it is, that we won't, as a commissioner, we won't be able to hear any mitigation, and it's going to be in the hands of the special magistrate. I don't want to relinquish our authority, and also it is an avenue of last resort for many people that they consider that it has been unjust. You see, and let us. I'm not talking about 2,000 fines, all the types of fines, but there are some cases that has come before us that they have a good reason, and they have they have a good case. You see, some of them don't, but at least give them the opportunity that in certain cases they should come to before us, and we are being the authority, the legislative authority, we will decide which one. I will agree with this if we place limits. You see, some of these cases will come to us. People will be able to appeal to us. We are the appeals court. You see, that's what we are.
So, Commissioner.
If I may, Robert.
Robert Towns, Osborne, Co-Compliance Director.
Can you give me one second?
Okay,
Thank
yes,
you.
sir.
I apologize.
Okay,
Thank
no,
you.
it's okay.
Chairwoman, colleagues, the cases that we're receiving have been very few. It really hasn't taken much time overall in our agenda to do. And I think it's extremely important because these are cases of last resort that should be heard by this body as the ultimate authority. And I think if we look at how we've handled this up here, we've been fairly just and fair-handed in how we've done this. in all of our districts, whereas this has not been the case in many times in the past with magistrates that they collect very little. And here we have basically put some caps depending on how grave it is. And furthermore, those extreme cases, there should be air out in the open where people at home can see it, people that come here in the audience can see it and hear it. That doesn't happen with magistrates. It doesn't get put out in where people at home could see it. And few people come to those hearings. In fact, I remember when I first came back as an elected official, it became extremely hard for me to find out when hearings were being, when hearings occurred for magistrates. So that's the big difference that I see in here. Everything else, I have agreed that fine. We have a backlog. Let's give it to magistrates and code enforcement board and see how we can move along with that.
So, Chairman Carollos, Vice Chair. So one of the things that I've discussed with each during the review is their trade-offs. Specifically, the fact that we've had cases coming here. Yes, sir.
You claim that
Can we let him finish?
They just for clarify that you discussed with all of us. You didn't discuss it with me.
Okay. Clarification. But can we let him finish? He did. I was briefed.
No, but I wasn't the clarification.
Okay. Clarification. Go on, Director.
There are trade-offs for having mitigations coming before you. One of the things one of the values of it is that we've seen a significant revenue increase as it relates to code fines. There are parameters that you've established, and we just did it a few minutes ago, with some of those commercial properties. And those are really, really valuable. A huge concern is that if you say they come only to the code enforcement board and not magistrate, I do have concerns that currently there are cases that are non-homesteaded that are still being zeroed out. And I am mindful of the revenue stream and fines and the nature of the violation. So those parameters is some of the things that I discussed when I met with many of you. What I talked about, part of the discussion, Commissioner Reyes, was to develop guardrails. I used that term. So that there'll be minimum for homesteaded properties, and we understand that the individual may have had challenges and they comply, and they should be very treated differently than non-homesteaded LLC-owned residential properties or commercial properties. So those are things that we talked about shopping and working it with the legal department. Okay? So to your question, for having the cases come before you, and I'm going to yield to Mr. Weissong, but currently I believe that if a case goes to a code enforcement board or a magistrate, the appeal process is not before you. The appeal process is before the 11th Judicial Circuit.
Yes.
So I wanted to put that on the record.
Okay, and the way that it's read here, you see, we wouldn't have anybody coming before us.
Right.
You see, nobody would be able to come to the commission, to these elected officials, and take a good look at it and make a decision on it. We won't have that ability because this will recruit it. I know this is only first reading, right, but the only way that I would vote for this is that between first reading and second reading, we set those parameters, and right, we also agree on certain cases and define the cases if you want, if you must, that they will have the ability, or they have the right to come and appeal to this body. And as they have been doing it all the time, and going back to what Commissioner Carollo says, it's minimal, the amount of cases that we receive or mitigations that come before us in every meeting. So there's not much time that's been consumed. And as a matter of fact, if you take time, that's what we're elected to serve and to be here and work. See? And, but I don't want to take from the people the right to appeal, but for the elected officials are the people that they voted for. That's.
May I?
Yes, ma'am.
As I understand it, this magistrate will be helpful because there's such a backlog of cases. They don't get a quorum, and the cases that come before us, at least I discussed in our briefing, that there would be an avenue for certain cases to be appealed to the commission, correct?
Well, that's something that we're going to have to work with legal, and I'm going to yield to the city attorney to develop that. If you don't put that in process, the appeal, because we're big into due process, and every case that goes before the code enforcement board, either the respondent or we have the ability to appeal that case to 11th Judicial Circuit. Your question is to bring it to you, and I think that's something that needs to be developed with the city attorney.
Yeah, the goal of this item was to sort of undo the procedure where these came to the city commission. In doing that, and Ms. Arias, a colleague of mine in the office, we noticed that in a perfect world, we would fix the whole thing, which would be the mitigation schedule, the amount of the authority, stuff like that. Because the concern is always that even the code enforcement board on the homestead properties oftentimes mitigates to zero, and we're not sure why or what the criteria is and stuff like that. So, if this body wants to correct the way mitigations are done, we can do that. And we've promised that notwithstanding, this can either go forward as is and we come back with a different piece of legislation, or if you prefer to have this board hear these mitigations, then vote it down. But basically, we're just trying to provide you what you want.
And we also discussed with this legislation, there are really no parameters, and there's no recovery costs, no recovery of costs and expenses. And I don't think that is fair. So there should be at least a minimum to cover the cost. But I do think we need some parameters for it. I am in support of the magistrate because, and one, we have to have faith in the representatives that we appoint. We appoint to the code enforcement board. Because of the backlog, I believe that having a magistrate is safe. I don't believe that that person should have the ability to zero out anyone. Anyone that zero out, that should come to us because we should recover costs and expenses that the city incurs. But I trust my appointee to the code enforcement board. It is disheartening that we do not get quorum often, and we have a backlog of cases, and that backlog of cases will never come before us. And it's just tying up everyone's time. So I'm in support of having a magistrate, but again, I do believe we should have some parameters in place. We have some guidelines as to recovery of costs and expenses, and then perhaps some venue that we can, the most egregious cases may come before us for mitigation. And I'm going to turn it over to the sponsor of this item.
So I'm the sponsor of this item, and the reasons was because some of which you just stated. One of them is the backlog of cases. And I heard you, Robert, say that with the board, we were having problems that a lot of times they were walking away with zero. They were paying zero.
That is correct.
Is that the case?
That is correct.
And by the way, I was amply briefed on this, as I think you were. You said, I don't know about you, Mr. Pardo, Carollo, and Manolo, but I was briefed. Well, I was the one the author of this, and it's for that. And the other thing is, I do not feel comfortable. But by the same token, and you said that after this, we're not the last resort. Right now, they can go to the 11th, is what you said.
That is correct.
Okay. So what I want to do is reduce the case log. Is my intention. Okay. And then we get away from the not leaving in their hands that of course they're going to pay zero, so then they can get away with it all the time. I understand. So what we're trying to do is something in the middle here. I, for one, do not feel comfortable putting a price tag on what they owe, because I think it makes us look bad. That personally for me. So I'm willing to to come back and revisit, and then we got to tweak it. So you gentlemen down there, and I don't know how you feel, Pando. How do you?
I'm supporting it. I'm co-sponsor.
Okay. So that's my 2 cents.
So, do you want to defer it, or do you want to move forward with first reading and?
Let's move forward with the first reading, and then let's tweak it before the second reading. If that's amendable to you ladies and gentlemen.
If I may, Chair.
Go ahead.
What I don't understand is that we all are talking about the backlog that we have in cases for magistrates, for code enforcement. This is the reason we are bringing magistrates back. What is the big concern of this commission taking, like we have been, some of that backlog away, and us hearing the minimal amount of cases that we've been hearing? That helps with the backlog. But the only cases that we have been hearing are those that, after the ordinance that we have, that have guidelines, that they get discounts of so much if they correct and pay by a certain time, and there are breakdowns in the percentages of discounts they get. Once all that is expired and they get no discount, those are the ones that we're hearing, and it's a minimum amount. And with that, I agree with Commissioner Reyes. We should be hearing those cases. They should be out in the open so that everyone at home could see it, totally in the sunshine, and they're minimum cases. And we're helping the backlog, whatever it is, by taking those additional cases. As far as the magistrates, and I don't think this is part of this ordinance. I thought we had done this separately. It's fine. We go with the magistrates and see how that's going to work and alleviate our backlog. But for the small amount of cases that are in the form as I described here, I believe we should handle those cases like we've been doing.
Right, Madam Chair, I'm the author of the sponsor. I say call the vote.
So, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. First reading for FR4. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
And voting in favor of this, but with the condition that you come, because it's first reading, I'm going to give you the opportunity to fine-tune this ordinance in a way that everybody, that we don't close the door. We don't close the door, and that for the residents to be able to come and plead their case before us. Okay. Because as a matter of fact, that people don't, let's not forget that they elected us. They did not elect the magistrate. And there has to be parameters placed on the magistrate. Because back history, all history, and we have, and that was the biggest problem, that why they was eliminated in the first place, that certain things happened that it shouldn't happen. You see? And there was some favoritism. Because we all humans, and you are a friend of a friend. And you know everybody that comes here. There have to be certain parameters. And those parameters have to be very clear when you bring it back. And I would suggest that you sit with each one of us and you clarified all the concerns, and we shall incorporate in the second reading all our concerns and the right of the residents to come and plead the case before this body. Okay?
Understood. Chair, just for the record, FR4 passed as is 4-1 with Commissioner Croy voting no.
Correct. Thank you, Director Santos.
Thank you.
At this time, we will take up RE8 and RE9. We can separate the two. I believe it was pulled for discussion by our Vice Chair.
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
Madam Chair, I'd like to open on the item, if possible. 8 and 9? Oh.
I just opened it up. The Vice Chair pulled it, so I'm going to allow him to start.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You want to start?
I'd like to.
Go
I'm
right
the
ahead.
sponsor.
I'm sorry.
Our district.
But you didn't pull it, did you?
But can I ask the following before we get into it? I had pulled RE2. Can we begin with RE2?
Sure.
Okay. RE2.
To the administration, what are the projects that we're talking about in RE2, and what amounts are we spending on each of those projects?
Good morning, Commissioner. Erica Pascal with the Finance Director. This item does not change the projects that were previously approved when we authorized the pricing for the 256.
Can we go through those projects publicly? And
Yes.
the amounts?
Yes, I will defer to budget to give you the actual project list.
Would it be better, would it be better for them to brief you maybe during the lunch? And if you want to have a list of all of the projects?
Well, that's fine, but I wanted also to be able to get some briefing on RE8 and 9 so that, we could be ready to vote on this as it will be.
I think my open will help.
I don't know if you will or
Hold
not.
on, hold on.
I've heard some other things that
Hold on.
I need to call some of the principals themselves to see if it's accurate or not, and the administration, and see what one or the other has to say. But
Let's not,
I'll
let's
listen.
stay with one, or we're on RE2. Let's stay with RE2. Do you have a list of the projects that are, can you run them now, or do you need time to get them?
Yes, we'll go print them out through the chair, Commissioner Larry Spring, Chief Financial Officer. The project list is the exact same project list that the City Commission previously approved on the other bond resolution, so nothing has changed, but I'll print it out.
Through the chair, but Larry, this is exactly what I want to be shown publicly.
Okay.
We keep saying it's the same list, but let's show it.
Okay.
Let's show what the projects are. Let's show the amounts.
Okay.
It's
No,
not enough
we're
that
printing.
it's the same list.
Yeah, we're printing it out. I wanted to put that on the record because this is just Series C of literally the same issue.
Yeah, but
That's all.
you're talking about several $100 million.
Yes.
That's real money. So I want to be able to see again what is the list and how much we're putting on each project.
Okay. It's being printed right now.
Okay, so we will open it up for RE8 and RE9.
Thank you.
Commissioner Pardo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, I really wanted, we had a lot of questions from the district, and I thought we should put several things on the record, just explanatory items for people to understand what's happening here a little bit better. I wanted to thank the development teams involved. I think their work has been incredibly forward-thinking and very thoughtful. I wish we saw more kinds of projects like this. On the north side, I'm going to start with Watson Island on the north side. The current situation is a lease with ESJ Capital. It has the Jungle Island theme park, Joya Beach, the ballroom event space, and it has the right to expand the private theme park and build 300-room hotel and extend its lease to 2114. The current transaction being proposed would cancel and replace. Eco-Resiliency is a partnership between Terra Group and ESJ Capital. The city would sell 5.4 acres at fair market value, approximately $110 million, and would make an upfront payment to the city, potentially for the cost of the park. This is the biggest piece of this transaction. It returns the majority of the land to the city, which is 13 acres, as a world-class public waterfront park including a public beach, public parking garage. The park is exceptional. It has probably the best resiliency features I've seen out there. I think it's incredibly commendable, and I'm thrilled that it's happening here. The group would construct the park for approximately $37 million at its cost, and it would carry the maintenance cost, which is about $2 million a year, plus a 3% increase going forward. The 5.4 acres would be developed with 2 300 condo towers, and it would be complying with Miami 21 T612. The model they're proposing here is a regenerative model that actually takes stormwater, which is usually a liability and usually very difficult to deal with, and makes it an asset in terms of its filtration and how it returns it. On the south side of the island, we have the Flagstone Watson Harbor project. It extends the upland leases, which is retail, parking, luxury hotel, residences, lifestyle hotel, from a maximum of 75 years to 99 years. It changes the ownership from fractional ownership or timeshare ownership to condominium ownership. And then it also seeks approval to use portions of the lease space for co-working, office, or similar use. City Manager, I was hoping you could share some of the public benefits, community public benefits, which a lot of people have been interested in. And then maybe the development teams can weigh in on that as well, if anything's been missing from what's been stated.
Commissioner, I don't have a current copy of that. Maybe we can try to get our arms around that.
And if I may chime in, because I stated in our last commission meeting that a community benefits package, a real community benefits package that would benefit the entirety of the city of Miami, needed to be carved out in order to receive my support. I have worked with both teams, and I believe that we have a significant community benefits package carved out where the districts will receive money for affordable housing. So while this project is fantastic, I support it, but I cannot support it if we do not give to the rest of our constituencies. And I believe that we have taken leaps and bounds towards getting there, and I'm happy with where we are, that I could move this item forward. In my request, I have included the jobs that was spoken about today in public comment. I have included all segments of the community. Our returning citizens will have an opportunity, and I have a commitment from each of the teams that these community benefits will come with teeth. There will be repercussions. It's not just pie in the sky, looks good on paper. They will be held accountable for the community benefits that I'm asking for. And I believe that we have taken a good stride toward receiving community benefits with these two projects. So,
Madam Chair?
Commissioner.
Oh, no,
Can I
H before beauty, right?
Madam Chair, can I add something?
Mr. Manager.
For purposes of just understanding what's before you now. What's before you now is a request to have the law department draft the ballot language. So you don't have an agreement before you per se. That'll come later.
That's correct. We
right?
don't have an agreement, but I did not want to agree to even begin drafting the ballot language, which is why I requested the deferral at the last meeting before the teams came to the table to say, we understand, and a community benefits package is important to move these projects forward, and they stepped up. Both of the teams stepped up to the plate, and I believe we are on our way to a wonderful project for all. Commissioner Reyes?
Yes, first of all, Madam Chair, I want to congratulate you for taking the leadership in requesting in paper before it went to the ballot, the community input that, and the benefits that they are offering. I met with both teams, also myself, and I went over and I added a little bit to what you had asked because you had covered all the bases when they met with you, and we added a couple of things. And in my opinion, this is at last we are going to have a comprehensive development in Watson Island because we have been very unlucky and with the actors that we have picked to develop that valuable piece of land. And this is the way that I see it. This development is not only to benefit people that are going to live in Watson Island. They're going to have a park. The community is going to have a park. They're going to have good walk. I mean, they're going to be big walks, and then there will be communication between one side and the other. They're going to have restaurants and a place that the community can come and spend the afternoon or spend the whole day with the family. This is a project that I believe it's going to benefit, and I agree with you, Madam Chair. I'm very pleased with all the benefits that they have approved, and I'm going to support it.
Commissioner Gabella?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair. So they were kind enough to come into my offices. I'm sure they were in your offices to tell me what the benefits are. And some of those preliminary benefits, we're getting 13 acres back, $2 million every year with a 3% increase per year is going to be given back to maintain the park.
That's unheard of. Nobody ever offered that.
We get a $700K one-time payment, $250K to the ferry, contribution of 15 to 20 mil a year. That's on the tax base that we're going to derive those revenues. We're going to get a cash payment of 10 to 15 mil in 3 installments, 1/3, 2/3, and 3/3. Some of it is going to be designated, I understand, affordable. And the last one, there was 16 mil owed when this deal was done with Parrot Jungle, I believe. And that debt is going to be paid back, and it's going to be going to the general fund, distributed among our districts. So I think this is a win-win for everybody. Just want to state that on the record.
This is on which of the two projects? Because we have two.
This is on the north side.
Okay, this is north side. Do
Correct.
you have anything that you looked at?
The south side?
On the south side also?
I did look at the south side.
Commissioner Pardo?
Madam Chair, I thought they could list the community benefits for the record from the development teams. I think it would be good.
Yes, that would be fine because both teams, and again, we haven't solidified the deal, but this is what we're working with. I'm sure we'll tweak it before it has to go before the voters.
If I may, Madam Chair, that's an excellent point. As what happens with a lot of these projects is first the voters will vote whether they want us to proceed with these two items in terms of the referendum. And then at that point, we're going to actually do the deep dive on the agreements. We're doing a lot of that now already as a preamble, but that's when a lot of the final ingredients will get placed into the agreements, especially from a public benefits perspective.
Can I speak
Vice Chair.
before they make the
Yes,
presentation?
go ahead.
Thank you. Mr. Manager, can we have a map of Watson Island up so that we could identify what lands are we talking about in each lease? So I'm confused as to all the land involved, and
South side. Come up here. Will this come up? So, thanks, Jim. Can I? Yeah.
I was hoping that we would have gotten a break, that I could have done this during the break with staff and the applicants, but it is what it is for now.
Commissioners, Andrew Frey, Department of Real Estate and Asset Management. Just to orient you in what you're looking at right now, and we can get back to the other folks' comments. The Watson Harbor deal is related to the kind of maroon T636A area on the left side of the screen.
That's the
former Flagstone.
Okay, the
yeah.
36A area.
Exactly. So they have that maroon kind of strange shape there on the side, currently zoned T636A.
Right.
And that's where the hotel and residential towers and the retail development, potentially an office component, that's that deal on the west side of the island. And then on the east side of the island, where you see the Jungle Island SAP labeled.
Before we jump into the other side of the island where you had the Jungle Island part, the C1 is also part next to the T6-36A.
Correct.
It's also part of what this project will entitle, correct?
That is part of the harbor, the mega yacht marina.
Yeah.
And that is still with the original tenant.
Okay,
so they developed that, and they are keeping that, and then they transferred the upland lease to the new development team.
All right. Let's go over to the area just below this.
The CS with the
CS
Science Museum or the Children's Museum. Yeah.
Children's Museums. Do you have? Is that strictly the Children's Museum and CS?
No.
Okay.
That is mostly the Children's Museum. I think that there is
Chalks. Also,
Chalks is below that.
Chalks is the blue.
In the blue here, the CI.
Okay. Well, okay. We're seeing the area that
right.
I have questions about now. So, the Children's Museum is CS.
Correct.
What else includes that CS?
Surface parking. I think that the Watson Harbor folks have a temporary sales center there as well. But mostly it's the Children's Museum and the surface parking for the Children's Museum.
Okay, but outside of the Children's Museum, how much more land does the city still own there that we haven't leased out?
I don't know the exact size of that CS area.
Okay, so let's move this up so we can see the whole bottom end.
Can I offer a suggestion? Because he's asking questions that, quite frankly, are going to be confusing because it's referencing this is a zoning map. This is not outlining the footprint. And I want to make it easier on you, Commissioner. So
yeah, but I don't care what map you use, but I need to identify publicly which is the land that we're entering into leases.
Correct.
And the bottom portion of this, I mean, if you want to bring another map, that's fine, but I want to get to the bottom portion of it now.
Sure.
Okay. Well, slide up.
So this map it just was a PDF.
If you keep going up more, can you see?
There's
another part down here that is blocked up. That I think the city, if I remember correctly, owned. That we never gave it out, maybe as much as 5 acres or more or less.
Correct. Yeah, that's on the east side of the southern part.
Do you have a map that shows that entire area?
Andrew, we're going to switch to Google Earth because that's a better platform.
I'm sorry, Commissioner. This is just a PDF, so this is a screenshot. So if you want to zoom out further, we're going to have to switch to.
That's fine.
Give me a second. We can switch to that.
I'm going to ask, this is what Commissioner Carollo is referring to, is that it's the eastern part of which is not developed.
Correct. Correct. I think the two pieces that Commissioner Carollo is inquiring about are basically the two gap pieces on the southern piece. So on behalf of RE9, Iris Escara, 333 Southeast 2nd Avenue, the leased premises for the BH3 IG developer, Nitin, and his partners and so forth, was the red and the blue area. That is our leased premises. What we have proffered is to, through an easement, make resiliency improvements, promenade improvements to the gap between us and Chalks, skip over Chalks, and then Chalks to the corner. So that corner piece, Commissioner, that you're mentioning is also one that has a bunch of FDOT easements, WASA easements. It's really, not because of anything, it's really an undevelopable parcel for any buildings and structures. However, it is an opportunity to create a complete open space. So what we've done as part of the community benefits, we've offered to make resiliency improvements and park improvements in the piece between us and Chalks, jumping over them because they have their lease rights, and then all the way to the corner. Now that corner does not connect north. There, the road kind of like goes down,
Right.
which is different because on the north it does connect. There is a loop.
All right, so here's my question. How many acres do we have in that portion?
That piece down there is about almost 4 acres, if I recall correctly.
Okay. The piece is still going to be the city.
City.
You're not going to take it under this new expanded lease.
No, the only thing that we have is an easement to be able to make the improvements and maintain it. One of the things that we've coordinated is to also maintain it so that it matches everything else on the promenade.
Okay, well, why can't we make that into an additional park, green space?
We are. That's the whole proposal is to expand the Baywalk and make it just an open space that will be opened and it will be maintained.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is a real park.
Well, we can coordinate in what the improvements you would like to see there. We've proffered to make resiliency improvements because there's drainage issues everywhere all over this island. It's an island. But we could definitely sit down and coordinate what are the actual improvements or activation the city would want to see. On the Baywalk, we're kind of just following the Baywalk standards. The city and has established Baywalk standards, and the DDA does as well, and so it's uniform. But on the upland, we can work with you all in your offices on those improvements.
And you're proffering, Counselor, that this is not going to be part of your lease expansion, nor are you going to be building anything or doing any other commercial activity there.
No, what we did offer was to do activation from time to time, to do stuff to the extent we coordinate with the city on what those activation is, because you have to be able to do stuff there, but that's something that we've proffered.
Well, that's something that I want to get cleared out and spelled out very clearly what activation is. I'm sure that the people that presently have the lease on the other side, they consider that beach area also activation. And look what it became.
That's a little different.
So I want to make sure that this activation is spelled out clearly as we move forward as to what you would be allowed to do there, or for that matter, anybody else. Because I was going fine in your explanation until you mentioned activation, and that needs to be spelled out to me clearly.
Understood. We're happy to do so. That was just something because one of the things that we're trying to do is make sure everything gets activated. Not only that piece, but that it actually, from a public perspective, right? So we just want to make sure there's benches, there's shelter, to the extent the city wants to have those sort of items there. One of the things that I've learned with parks is that the Parks Master Plan did really an amazing job at community outreach and reaching out to various different groups and getting detail on what the community wanted to see in each park. So we've been using that as kind of like a guide as to the items that would want to be seen on Watson Island based on those factors, because kind of that homework was already done for us. Thank you, Parks Department.
Madam Chair, if I may go in the same same line that Commissioner Carollo was going. When that tract of land is going to be a park, what you're going to do is you're going to invest in it, in remodeling and being a park. And that's going to be zoned as park, right?
Yeah. So it's zoned as park already. We're not doing anything. None of that.
Hold on a second. That's where I'm going. What I'm going is that if you are going any activation, they say that you want to have a festival there, what has to come through park and get a permit before you do that. So I don't see any problem.
No, and that, of course.
As long as we keep,
yeah.
we keep the authority on the tract of land, And that is a park, and we are the ones, they're going to keep it, but we manage it. We decide what's going to go in there. That's
Correct.
it.
Correct, Commissioner.
Understood.
They're not proposing to expand their leasehold interest
Right,
area
nothing.
at all. They're keeping it just within that,
Yeah.
just within that maroon area. The rest of the area will continue to be owned by the city, to be parkland. They're offering to help make improvements to that area, but we will retain control as to what happens in those areas. If they can be helpful in activating it, great. If we don't want their help, also great. We can, Parks Department can activate it themselves. So we will have full control in those areas.
Okay, like we do in all our parks.
Yes.
I think at this time we were going to have each team identify the public benefits that we have so far.
Right.
It's not
Thank
the
you.
final.
Right.
It's not the final version by any means, and today we are only approving so that the team can draft the ballot language, but we can hear what we have so far. Go ahead, since you're already here.
Okay,
And you are representing?
RE9 on behalf of BH3 IG Developer, south of the MacArthur Causeway. We had in our existing lease, because we already have an existing lease, we had a public benefits program that had various different items, and we have gone through that and updated it because that was entered into some time ago, and we've tried to bring it more in line with what the current needs are, what the current requests are. So we are still working through the details of that as the Commissioner, but we have presented that the enhanced community benefits program, so it's, in addition to the old, we're addressing major resiliency issues on the island. We're addressing affordability from the benefits of the project. We're addressing job training and coordinating with current organizations to bring those jobs to Watson Island. We've updated our arts program to match the city's current arts program. And we've really gone above and beyond to try to look at this from a holistic perspective with the two additional infrastructure and resiliency projects with the Baywalk, right? We've really gone beyond just our borders to try to make sure everything gets developed so it's not like half a piece and then there's a mispiecing and the other half the other piece.
And you will continue to brief all of us on
Yes.
the specifics, the particulars.
Yeah, and I need to work also with the legal team on the details of the drafts and so forth. So we'll do that before the next agenda.
Commissioner Pardo?
You mentioned that there are drainage issues everywhere. It's an island.
It's an island.
Right. Hello. What's left that's not done? on
Well, the
that?
two pieces that we're proposing are the two pieces that are not done. Meaning
Okay.
the piece between us and Chalks and the piece on the other side of Chalks, if we didn't do those, like if we just stayed with our original, we do the piece that's within our leased premises. Punto. Right? And then every other project has to do their things. But there's two gap pieces. And what we've done on the south side is we said, let's look at these gap pieces and do it holistically. The only thing we got to hope that the blue piece comes in so that it all gets done.
And does that leave unfunded drainage issues? Does it leave any unfunded drainage issues?
Well, the only other area is, you see in this map here, is the FDOT stuff, like the FDOT loops and stuff. That would be
The
the only
easement.
thing. No, north of the
Oh,
easement.
north
There's
of-
an area there that's not in color. That's FDOT right away. That would be the only other area that's not kind of covered. On the south by our project, on the north by the northern project, is kind of like that FDOT piece game. That's a different party.
And we'll have the other team come now.
Sorry, I'm going to close this laptop. My apologies. Sorry, you want me? Good morning. Chris Pinellas and Dennis Kerbel on behalf of RE8. Law office is located 98 Southeast 7th Street. We're here on the northern side of the island, and we've been meeting with many of you on our public benefits package, and I understand that all of you have been discussed and briefed in detail regarding what our offer is. Obviously, as Mrs. Scarra mentioned, our deal is still a work in progress. We're working out the details with many of you, but I'm happy to share the main items that we are proffering. Number one, as staff had mentioned, we are proffering the construction of the park, 13 acres being returned to the city. Our intent is to develop a world-class park at that location, open to all residents of the city of Miami. And our intent is to have in our conversations with the community a passive park at that location that will go ahead and mitigate any noise impacts on the neighborhood. We are also going to be offering, through maintenance payments, maintenance funds for the maintenance of that park and improvements to that park going on into the future. We are also offering a affordable housing payment to the city. We are also offering harbor facilities for the city to go ahead and have a harbor master at that location to manage the mooring fields that the city has in Biscayne Bay. We are also giving a one-time proffer for improvements to the Japanese garden just south of our development parcel. We are also proffering some funds and being involved in the master planning, general master planning of Watson Island. As Mrs. Carr said, we are also going to be working with local organizations to include returning citizens and other groups in our workforce for the construction of our project. And we will also be proffering a certain sum towards ferry or marine patrol operations. Thank you.
Thank you. And what no one has said is that the contribution for affordable housing in our districts are going to be allocated pursuant to the poverty guidelines, which will address the needs in our respective communities. But I think it's amazing that we will get funding to address housing in our respective districts, and that's huge. Also, and I'm not sure which project it is, but we're going to have an oyster field that's going to help with the bay and keep the bay alive. And we're doing everything that we can to tick all of the boxes that are important to our constituents: resiliency, preserving our bay, addressing affordable housing in the entirety of the city of Miami, getting green space, park space for the city. These projects can be smart for the entirety of the city of Miami. And I'm so thankful that you guys heard what I said and stepped up to and came along with me. You know, it was, everybody wanted to chop my head off at the last commission meeting, but that's okay. You can chop my head off for the community, because all of us here stand for the entirety of the community, and I look forward to seeing this project move to fruition, so long as you guys, we have a benefits package with teeth that does not exclude the rest of the city. Commissioner Pardo?
Yeah. I wanted to mention that the impact fees from this project benefit all districts.
All districts.
And I think that's very important to acknowledge. And just from a personal perspective, and the development teams know this, I'm the chair of the Omni-CRA, so I'm very passionate about affordable housing. But I think we can walk and chew gum at the same time. I don't think everything has to come out of the same transaction. I have been exceptionally concerned with infrastructure, not just on an island, but throughout District 2. Miami-Dade County is facing this, and there isn't a dedicated source of funding the way there is for other things. It's important to understand that D2 is the whole coastline of the district. It is a donor district generating as well, you know, and as well as.
I think you and I share the coastline.
Yeah, correct. And D1, well, the river.
The river.
Right.
Well, D1.
Joe and I, we are landlocked.
Yeah.
Yes. So the three of us, the three of us share the coastline.
And where I'm going with that is, if the economic engine that generates 72% of the revenue of the city, you know, all boats go up with a rising tide, all boats go down with a rising tide. We need to protect the investment in the urban core and the coastlines. We have very real issues. Any climate event will affect all of our districts, and our revenues will come down. And we need to really understand the importance of infrastructure and resiliency. I don't know if the Yacht Club and the Outboard Club are included in this.
No.
They're not. They are?
No,
they're not. Well, let me just finish with this real quick. So, you know, my concern is this regenerative model that's been discussed, that's so important for the island. Do we have the resources that it's an island-wide regenerative model?
So to that point, Commissioner, I can say that part of our proffer is the master planning of Watson Island. Obviously, we will control whatever's part of our deal and develop that according to that master plan. But I will tell you in our planning, we are taking into consideration resiliency and infrastructure for the future. But our development obviously is within the confines of our program.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
My concern there is with our stormwater master plan, we only have 10% funded. That's, $400 million of a $4 billion commitment that we need to worry about. Edgewater has 7 buildings being added, 7,000 units. Upper East Side, Magic City, the entire area, another 6,000 units. That 195 Biscayne exchange is not even on the 10-year funding plan for the state. So that exchange, that bottleneck, and what's happening with the flooding is something we need to worry about. The spoil islands are eroding. We're not doing anything about addressing that, or water quality in Biscayne Bay, which any of these projects would dramatically impact. So I think pumps are not enough. We need to be doing a lot more. If we're doing it right, we would be lowering insurance costs for all of our residents. So that makes a big difference. I don't agree with API being the measure being used, because poverty might be an issue more so in some districts, and infrastructure is much more of an issue in our district. So much so that it's kind of slapping us in the face constantly. If you have affordable housing, but you're wading through contaminated water and your car is stalling and you can't get to work and you're facing 2 hours of traffic and you're losing your home, we're not cutting it in the city of Miami. So that is why I wanted to give a healthy explanation of why infrastructure is so important and why, in my mind, we could deal with affordable housing. We have other ways of dealing with it, and that this, in my mind, was the biggest priority. I'm very passionate about affordable housing, about equity in general. So but it shouldn't be this binary. It's not a trade-off. And I think this was an opportunity to deal with some of these really core issues that are still going to be there even after these developments are done, are completed.
Madam Chair?
Let me say that infrastructure is an issue in District 5. I had a constituent come and see me, Constituent Tuesday, whose car was damaged because he hit a pothole in District 5. So infrastructure and flooding is an issue everywhere.
Every district.
For every district.
Every district.
And
flooding.
The reason why I latched on to affordable housing is because these two projects are creating luxury condominiums while we are, in the rest of our districts, suffering a housing crisis. I cannot in good conscience support a project that's creating more luxury housing when we are having difficulty just finding housing, affordable housing for the residents in our other districts. And that's why I focused on affordable housing. But to your point, we are all suffering infrastructure issues in our district. I think all of us will agree on that. But this project can't cure all the ills of the city of Miami. But because it's luxury housing, multi-million-dollar condos, I thought we need to be considerate and think about the housing issues and the housing crisis that the city of Miami is now facing before we ask to approve yet another multi-million-dollar luxury housing project. Commissioner Reyes?
Madam Chair, I agree with you that we all have problems in every single district. I have flooding, I have streets that have to be repaved, but I agree with you, Mr. Pardo, that we have to make an effort certain areas of your district that flooding is a major issue, but to that effect, we should be more aggressive in the state and federal level in trying to find funds and grants in order for us to improve the infrastructure of those areas that they get flooded. Case in point, Brickell Avenue and 13. You see, that is, I would say that it is For the city of Miami to still have that problem every time that it rains, and it's shameful. See, it is shameful. And but having said that, I heard everybody. I would like to move.
I just have one little thing I wanted to add there, and that's that luxury units bring in a lot of revenue to the city and a lot of impact fees that we all benefit from. So, let's keep that in mind. And yes, of course, we all suffer from lack of stormwater.
That's right, lack of it.
But District 2 has the entire coast. So when we're talking about climate events, areas like downtown, areas like Edgewater, Brickell are extraordinarily vulnerable. And we really need to focus on this.
And we need to move and get some funds for all those areas too, including ours. And I move both.
So I believe our vice chair would like to.
Thank you. Well, I've heard everybody, and I think if there's one thing we could all be in agreement on is that all of our districts have infrastructure needs. All. Go through Alapata, go through Little Havana, go through Flagami, and you're going to see them everywhere. But, I keep hearing about the flooding. Which are the main areas in the city of Miami that when it rains we have flooding? He's right, District 2. What part of District 2? You have the Omni area. You have right in the Brickell area. Look around you, and what do you see in those areas that you don't see much of, if any, in the rest of our districts? You got skyscrapers, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 floors up. You know how many square city blocks of people you're putting up there? You know how much more waste, water, you're sending down through our sewer system every time you build one of these? So what I'm trying to say is that each time that we build one of these huge skyscrapers, you're multiplying tremendously in the sewers in that area how much more water, waste, human, non-human, is going to be going through that. That's why when it rains, a lot of those sewers are already full to an extended amount and can't hold that much more. Because when they were originally built, they weren't built with so many people in mind. So if we want to help the solution, then we're going to have to not build as much all in one area. It's going to have to be spread out within the city, because if you pick areas that you're going to be doing all this huge construction in, you're going to have that problem. And the cost to alleviate it somewhat is going to be a heck of a lot more than any of the fine developers would ever give the city of Miami on the onset. Those are problems that then fall upon us. So just wanted to make that statement.
We also have in our district the South Grove area and the single-family residences along Brickell. So it's not just the high-rise. We have very significant flooding throughout our district.
So I believe we've gotten a little off track. I'd like to. I
You
have
know,
a
I'm the only one
I'm
that
sorry.
hasn't complained yet, you know, but
Would you like to say anything
No,
before?
no.
So what I would like to do is to go ahead and have us vote on RE8 as amended and RE9 so that staff can get going on drafting the ballot language. I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
I'm sorry, Chair.
Aye.
Who was the seconder? Me?
Commissioner Reyes.
No, Commissioner Reyes moved, and so Commissioner Pardo, you're
Pardo,
second.
Okay.
RE8 as amended,
As
RE9
amended,
as
and
is.
RE9,
And RE8 as amended pursuant to the substitution memo distributed on July 9, 2024.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all very much. See you all next time.
Thank you. Great work.
Okay.
Mr. City Clerk, where am I? I have the CAs, the PHs. I've completed all of the REs.
You had RE2?
Yes,
I still-
RE2 is still in play,
Stay-
SR2,
Okay.
AC1, DI.
All right, let's take up RE2. Who pulled RE2?
No.
Commissioner
Carrera.
RE2,
I thought we did, but we haven't. So RE2.
no, we have not voted for RE2. I'll make
We're
the
waiting
motion.
for the list. We got the list.
Yeah, I'll make the motion for RE2. Yes, I got the list.
We got the list. A motion.
Now, before you make that motion, you know, I want you to know you just opened up a can of worms because I was doing my little numbers here, and I'm the guy that I got 21 projects, 44 mil. That equals 14% of $299 million. If you were to disperse that equaling to 5, that'd be 73%. So there's a 27% gap that, and I didn't do the other math, that you guys, among you, got. So if we're going to complain, I can be number one complainer here from my area.
No.
But, you know, I just wanted to put on the
I'll be
record.
happy to
No, just
defer
to-
this into the next meeting if you like.
No, we got
No, I believe this item is time sensitive, and it is a regulatory item.
Got it.
Something was left out, and we need to include it. That's why none of the projects have changed or anything like that. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Todd, what else do we? SR2?
Yes, ma'am, SR2.
Yes.
already?
Now it is 12 noon, and I believe we have the
Attorney-client session.
no.
Virginia Key
The
Beach Park Trust.
Correct.
Oh, sorry.
The Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting. So I'd like to recess our meeting and have the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting, and then thereafter, after our lunch session, we'll go straight to our attorney-client session. So we'll recess for lunch 2 hours after the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting. The City of Miami Commission meeting for July 11, 2024 is now in recess. Thank you all. As soon as the tape is flipped, we will start the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting. I'm making a provision for, that's why I said wait till We're ready to start.
Insurance company, after 3 months, they finally got me here.
Oh my God. At this time, we are going to begin the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting. Madam Executive Director.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I would like to call order to the meeting. We're going to go ahead and take roll. We have Chairwoman King, Board Member Cabela, Board Member Pardo, Board Member Carollo. Oh, he's here. He's behind me. Board Member Brown. Board Member Brown. Vincent Brown. And Board Member Peabody is here.
And Commissioner Reyes.
Did I miss him? I'm sorry. Yes.
Commissioner
Board Member
Reyes. Okay.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call order to approve the minutes from the following meeting. It was the April 11th meeting at 2024.
Motion.
Thank you. Second? No? Okay, we have a motion and a second.
I can't, because I'm the chair.
Okay.
I'll second.
Thank you. So we have a motion and a second. All approve?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open public comment.
Can you discuss the items before us?
Yes.
Read the items and then we'll have public comment.
Okay. Good afternoon. We have one item for the agenda. It is a resolution of the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust with attachments approving and adopting its general operating budget, attached and incorporated as Exhibit A, in the total amount of $1,985,000 for the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2024, and ending September 30, 2025, subject to the City of Miami City Commission's approval. Directing the executive director to present the fiscal year 24-25 budget to the City of Miami for its formal approval and adoption. If adopted, ratifying, approving, and confirming certain necessary actions of the executive director to update the relevant financial controls, create the necessary fund accounts, and undertake project closeouts, accounting entries, and computer systems in connection therewith, all in accordance with applicable sections of the Code of the City of Miami, Florida, as amended, providing for an effective date.
At this time, is there anyone that would like to speak on behalf of this item in public comment? Seeing none, public comment period is now closed. May we have a motion? I have a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Item passes unanimously.
Okay, and we have 3 discussion items. I'm sorry, I thought someone was talking. The first item is to discuss the Virginia Beach Park regarding the presentation of the Summer Youth Camps Connect interns from their summer experience with Virginia Key Beach. It's very short. At this time, I'd like to introduce the Education Department, Maya Forbes.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman and Board of Trustees. I'm Maya Forbes. I'm one of the Education and Volunteer Coordinators at the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust. My colleague Luis Serra Arenas and I manage the Education Department, where we share the history and ecology of Virginia Key through public programming and outreaches in the community. This summer, we had the opportunity to host 3 interns, Diana Osorio, Steven Zamora, and Demi Ochaga, through the City of Miami Summer Connect Job Program. At this time, I would like to introduce Diana Osorio to briefly share her experience.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for having me, Chairwoman, and all the Board of Trustees. I am Diana Osorio. I've been dedicated to Summer Job Connect Miami for 4 years. Throughout my experience as an intern, I've been exposed to different atmosphere, and this year, I was assigned to historical Virginia Key Beach Park. My whole mindset shifted when I was exposed to the amount of trash that has endangered plants, animals, beach, and even us. This park is not just a beach, it has history. Speaking of history, I was shocked at how Martin Luther King came to historical Virginia Key Beach Park to have fun and relax with his friends and family. I've been involved in several beach cleanup, learn about the history, create flyer and PowerPoint for any upcoming event, and help to set up and design the Juneteenth shirt. Speaking of Juneteenth, it's a significant holiday commemorating the end of slavery in the United States. Celebrating on June 19th, it is a time to honor African American history and culture and to reflect on the ongoing struggle for equality and freedom. Our celebration of Juneteenth was truly a day of celebration, remembrance, and education. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diana.
Good afternoon, Chairwoman and Trustees. My name is Demi Archaga. I'm an intern for Summer Jobs Connect through the City of Miami. This summer, I was placed with historic Virginia Key Park, and I have grown to have a deep appreciation for the park. I moved to work in a place with such rich history. This park symbolizes resilience for the civil rights movement, as it was the first colored beach in Miami-Dade County. The park also serves as a diverse natural environment that includes coastal dunes, seagrass beds, mangroves, and a sandy beach. It is home to sea turtles and birds, manatees, and other marine life. And within a month of this internship, I have gained valuable experience. I was given the opportunity to design t-shirts for a Juneteenth event, host beach cleanups, participate in educational events, and I've learned what it takes to plan and execute successful events. I'm grateful for the amazing team, opportunities, and experiences presented to me during my time in the park. Thank you.
Thank you, Demi. And in the absence of Stephen, we're going to have Luis, who's the education coordinator, read his response. He's in a meeting with Miami Connect.
Hello, everyone. Mr. Zamora, he wrote, I work for the Summer Jobs Connect, employed by City of Miami for my first summer of employment as a senior in high school. I was happily placed at historic Virginia Key Beach, and I've already taken a lot for my first month of experience for my first job. Historic Virginia Key is a healthy work environment with a team of hard workers that I have learned so much from. This position has set my job expectations for future employment. This place is an environment where growth and change is allowed. You learn and experience new things every day. Some of the things I've helped contribute in my first month so far are creating informative PowerPoints, creation of Juneteenth merchandise, help with the Juneteenth event, helping with beach cleanups. I've learned many things pertaining to the ecology of Miami's beaches. I like how manatees retreat to our warmer waters during the winter, and how our beach is a turtle nesting island, along with important rich history of Virginia Key. I've never thought to think the mayor's civil rights leaders used to walk along our shoreline or eat at our concession stand until I was given the run-through of the history. I also learned how to function in a teamwork-based environment. I will take away a lot from my internship here at historic Virginia Key.
Thank you.
Thank you, Luis, on behalf of Stephen.
Madam Chairwoman, if I may, I just wanted to say I appreciated the opportunity to be one of the trustees that was there for the Blacks in Marine Science on actual Juneteenth. And I have to commend Maya and Louis. They were excellent hosts for that event. It was a beautiful event on a beautiful day, and I'm just so honored that I was there to see them in action, making us all proud. Thank you.
Thank you. And my apologies, I forgot to do the absentee waiver, so I'll do it really quick. for Benita Jones Peabody, the April 11th meeting, and also for Board Member Vincent Brown for April 11th and January 11th to be excused. Can we get a motion?
Can I have a motion for that? I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Carries unanimously.
Thank you. And then the last two items that we have are to discuss the concession stand, I have received inquiries about operating the concession stand, and I wanted to bring it to the board to see what was the will of the board. It does need extensive repairs. It is historic as well, so it has to get approved by the historic board. But I've had contact from helicopter tour companies, individuals that want to do rentals for chairs and umbrellas and things of that nature.
So I'd like to table that and have you brief each of us on the options.
Okay, no problem. And then the last thing is the quarterly report. I emailed it to everyone. I can briefly skim through it if you'd like, or we can just move on.
I don't know if my colleagues need to hear you say it. We already have it. So that would be it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so at this time, the Virginia Key Beach Park
And I just
Trust-
want to commend them for the work they're doing.
They
I
are
was
doing
at the
amazing.
Juneteenth Beach Bash and had a great time, and just keep up the great work.
Thank you.
And at this time, the Virginia Key Beach Park Trust meeting for July 11th, 2024 is now concluded. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
The City of Miami Commission meeting will resume at 2:30.